Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I want to do is take apart these 5 CD changer stereo units. Found them actually on garbage day at 2 separate houses. I have been storing one of them up. And you will find these often on garbage day. People are getting rid of their stereo units, their boombox systems from the late 90s. These both, actually there's a sticker on the one. They come from 1999, and they are a great source of scrappable material. The nice thing about these is I could actually bring them into the scrapyard as is and get paid e-waste or electronic weight price, which is about 5 cents a pound, and they are very heavy. This one actually weighs a little bit over 20 pounds, and this one's about 18 pounds. However, they are definitely worth more taking apart. Because of the weight, they do have, both of them, really nice transformers inside of them that's going to have some really nice number 2 copper. There's going to be some aluminum heat sinks, and as well as a lot of tin shreds. So what I'm going to do today is take them apart, show you how to identify the material, and more importantly, how to maximize your profit and divert as much of these away from the landfill as possible. So here we go. Very easy. The first thing, for the sake of time, I have already gone ahead and removed the side panels. As you can see, if I put a magnet to this one, it does stick, as well as the backing on this one has, again, magnetic, as well as this one. This frame too is magnetic, and that means these are going to go into my tin or shred pile. As you can see at the top, there is a window showing the CDs. You do not have to remove that in order to bring in tin. And I do want to clarify the difference between tin or shred, as I often refer to it in my videos. It does depend on where you are. Where I take my scrap in southwestern Ontario, the category is tin or shred. And that is any type of magnetic material as is. The difference between this and steel is steel has to pertain to thickness of the material, and it has to be thicker than 1/4 inch. These outer shells, just like your microwave shells or washing machines, all of those types of outer shells are all going to be thinner than 1/4 inch and go into your tin or shred pile. So it is going for about 6 cents a pound. Very easy to compress this. I just brought a load in actually to scrapyard a couple of days ago. I had 600 pounds just from outer shells of appliances and other materials. So easy to build up weight, and again, 6 cents a pound is a good price. It has gone down a little bit. In the summertime, it was going for about 11 to 13 cents a pound, which was unbelievable. But again, 6 cents a pound, I'm not going to complain. If I turn these around, very easy. Both of them actually have the same types of components. As I said, these are from 1999. This one, if I bring it up to the camera, you can see right here, there is a little bit of copper coil there. There, right here, is your money maker. These transformers are going to have some really good number 2 copper inside of it, as well as this metallic piece right there is an aluminum heat sink, and there are definitely other components on the circuit boards that are of value. The other thing I do want to say on the exterior of this, of course, they both come with a power cord, and these power cords are going to be classified as 60% appliance wire. You have 2 different categories, 40% and 60%. Because these are 1 layer of plastic on the outside and 2 strands that have no additional coating, scrapyards will look at plastic to copper ratio and copper recovery. There is more copper in here, less plastic. So this right now is going for $2.08 in London, Ontario. I just checked the prices a couple minutes ago. So you definitely want to make sure you take these and separate these from your 40% appliance wire. I also will remove the brass prongs. I will put those into a separate a container for brass. Some people leave them on for the weight. But again, this is your higher value appliance cord at 60%. Just to show you a comparison, this is off of a microwave. You can see it has an outer shell of plastic, and inside there's going to be 2 strands or 3 strands, of additional wire. 2 strands of additional wire that is also coated because there is more plastic. This would be an example of your 40% appliance wire, and these are actually going for $1.20 a pound. So definitely still a great price, but you definitely want to make sure you separate them. And word of caution, as you are scrapping, make sure you separate them along the way. I made the mistake of actually just putting them into a big bucket, and when the time came to bring them into the scrapyard, it took me several hours to separate them. So do it as you go along. Definitely going to speed up the process, and you will definitely make more money separating the material. So again, 60%. This also had, a lot of times with your stereo units, an additional cord. This too, look at the length of this cord. It doesn't weigh a lot, but it definitely will put it away and add up with all of my other wire. You can see same rule applies. This has 2 strands of wire, 1 coating of plastic. And just to show you, one of them you can see visibly is the copper color. This one, however, is a metallic color. But after scratching it with your file, you can see both of them are copper. I apologize for the light. I'm trying to get the glare off that, or the sun bouncing off that copper. So this is just coated, but both of these are still going to go into my my 60% appliance wire as is. And again, you definitely, as I said, want to separate them as you go. So make sure you do the scratch test. There is, especially with electronics, aluminum wire. So if I was to scratch these and it did not reveal the copper color underneath, it still revealed a metallic color, that would be aluminum wire. And you definitely don't want to throw that in with your appliance 60% or 40% appliance wire, because you are going to get downgraded. So make sure you separate those. So good piece of cord there as well. Comes off a lot of stereo units connecting to different speakers and other parts of that surround system. So here we go, another piece. I am going to focus just on this one here. There are a couple screws that I do need to remove, pull off this, and because they're both made the same, it's a little bit easier to do, just to focus on one. Okay, and the first thing, as I said, I want to focus on inside. This is this aluminum heatsink. I'm hoping I can actually get to it. There's some prongs that I have to get down through to get to a couple screws that are fastening this to the metal plate there. Okay, so take that off. Want to make sure it's not connected anymore. There might be, there we go. Just going to cut this wire. A lot of little wires in here. You can see this little ticker tape, if you will. I will actually just throw this into electronic wire, okay? It doesn't have a lot of weight to it, and definitely this is not going to be your appliance wire. So again, this is more of your low-grade wire. But here, right here, once I remove this back panel, this nice metallic piece, as you can see, is non-magnetic, and that's because this is aluminum, and this is one of your examples of aluminum heat sinks. This is a nice, big, thick piece. It probably weighs over 1.5 pounds. You definitely are going to find different styles. And in my videos, I often talk about aluminum heat sinks from circuit boards. You do want to make sure you check. This one is bordering on extrusion. You will find a lot of different heat sinks that come in different shapes. For example, this one right here, this is off of a different system, and this would be actually another heat sink, but this is a category called painted extrusion. So there are different categories at a scrapyard for extrusion. You have painted and unpainted, so any type of colors. I've seen golds, blues, reds, different ones painted. So this is about 2 or 3 cents less than your unpainted. And you definitely want to separate it because they will add up in weight, and if they are all together, you are going to get the lower price. But the difference between these two, the reason this is extrusion is because extrusion is a form of aluminum that looks like it has been put through a press or a mold, and you can see, easy to tell with these grooves here, your window frames there, those are extrusion. You will have like shower track doors, extrusion. This one, however, because it has these little fingers here that have just been attached, this is going to be just your clean aluminum. Once I remove the little pins there, there's a couple pins on the back, or screws, sorry. So you definitely want to make sure you check and look. The difference between extrusion and clean, so this is going to go for about 70 cents a pound, which is still a great price, but extrusion is your moneymaker, the highest form of aluminum, and right now it's going for about $1.60 a pound. So I often get heat sinks off of my electronics, and again, you definitely want to make sure you get those and separate them if they are extrusion. So here you go. There is a beautiful heat sink off of this one, and it also has right back here this plastic, or if you will, amplifier stereo. I do want to check this. I am actually just going to hit it right now with a hammer just to see inside of it. This is another piece of metal, but I am curious with this, so I'm just going to hit it on purpose. Okay, inside of here, there is another circuit board. The reason I wanted to check that is because your circuit boards always have prongs on it, and what I want to do is just show you one of the prongs on this circuit board. If I pull this off, bring it up to the camera, I'm just going to turn that. This circuit board, you can see right here, this prong right here that I have, these often attach to your aluminum heat sinks. And what I love about these is if I turn this to the camera, you can see on the top of that, that is actually copper. So all of these are actually going to be number 2 copper. Here is another one that you see, this long one, or this rectangular one here. These are all covered in copper. And I actually do have a container right here. This container is all those prongs, so you can see that I get a lot of them off of circuit boards. And this is actually 4.5 pounds just of these little prongs, and it will be number 2 copper price, which is currently going right now at $3.50 a pound. So even though they do not look like a lot, they definitely will add up. As well, on the side here, you can see this circuit board. There are a couple little coils of number 2 copper at $3.50 a pound, as well as a relay box. This relay box, once I open this, is also going to have a coil of copper. Here's an example of it. There's my copper, and it is going to have a couple little dots. Those dots actually do contain a small amount of silver. These are called relay boxes, and these are your silver contacts. So often have them on your circuit boards. And someone in another video asked me, are they silver dots, especially on the newer ones? I will definitely say now with the technology changing, circuit boards, especially with your flat screen TVs compared to your old CRT TVs, there's obviously gold on your flat screens, more copper on your older ones. And I will definitely say, given the age of these, the chance of these having silver instead of your other material, some of the prongs or the contacts will just be copper on top, no silver, or another type of metal. But these, because they're older, will definitely have a little bit of silver, as well as the beautiful number 2 copper inside of it. So you definitely, with age of circuit boards and things, the chance of having more precious metal on it, like palladium on your MLCCs, is going to be higher. But the nice thing about this as well is once I'm done taking these little things off, I can actually just throw this into my e-waste and still get 5 cents a pound for these. I do also take these chips off. There is a separate category for these. You can sell these online, these type of computer chips. There is right there a crystal oscillator that you can see in the light there, that little one by that MLCC. So these MLCCs are going to be your non-magnetic, higher value ones. Some people do, especially if they go into micro scrapping, they will put them in little vials. You can sell them online. So there definitely is different avenues. Or if you are not that type and you're not into micro scrapping, again, you're still getting value from these circuit boards. This little e-waste here again, you're going to see another circuit board. This one, I will actually just throw all of this right into my tin because there is right there a lot of steel on this. So once I remove the screws, I will just put that into steel. But again, very heavy. The circuit board part will be your e-waste, but again, where the tape deck comes in when you open it, that does have tin. So again, nice value to that. But I do want to focus right now on the moneymaker, which is my transformer. I've already removed, obviously, my other moneymaker, which was the aluminum heatsink. Okay, and mesh of this, while I'm getting this out, I did have another question from another viewer asking me, what do I do with the excess garbage? If I take these apart, yes, there is going to be a little bit of plastic for sure. There is definitely different rules where you live. Some people only are allowed, for example, 1 bag garbage limit. Some people have to pay for visiting the dump and removing these things. The nice thing about this stuff is, yes, although there is plastic, I get very little plastic from this. I can, especially if it is thicker plastic, you can actually recycle some of it. But most of this, when I take it apart, there may only be of this your little wheel from the CD changer right here, you can see, as well as the front panel. So there's not as much plastic and garbage as you think. Even with vacuum cleaners, yes, unfortunately, the outer shells are going to be plastic, and there is definitely a lot of plastic with those. But you will be surprised once you start taking them apart how little the garbage there is with those. And the other nice thing is, for something like this, if you are concerned about this, you could still just bring, for example, this panel in with the circuit board, this circuit board on it, and drop it off at an electronic depot facility. There are some around. Definitely in our region, there's about 2 or 3 that are close by, so that is another option you can do. But definitely a great question, because garbage obviously is a concern. But I guess the other nice thing is, looking at it, is something taking this out of the landfill whole is better than nothing. So gonna look at this right now. Very easy to take these apart. I am actually just gonna put some safety glass on. I wanna just cut these pins here. And I do have separate videos showing you different transformers, because there's different styles of them, obviously. And I will upload in my description the link to those videos, so if you're interested, go check those out. This is very heavy. This actually weighs 5 pounds as is. And there is a category at a scrapyard for transformers. They pay per pound. I think it's 15 cents a pound. But again, the number 2 copper in here is definitely worth more scrapping it. As well, you have the outer shell, which once I remove the prongs, is also going to be going into my tin. As well, you do see a really nice thick ribbon here. This is copper. If I scratch that with my file, there's my file right here. You can see it has that. That is going to be just a little bit of sheet copper. I always just throw that into, once I bundle it, going to be number 2 price, because it's not very thick, and I just throw it into my bag of number 2. But first thing I do need to do with this is I have to remove the outer shell. There is a protective shell here, and all I'm going to do just to do that is use my angle grinder. I'm just going to actually just make a small incision to open it. Okay, all I'm going to do after that is just shove this underneath, lift it, pull my magnet out of there. So there is the case to this. Just going to just pry that off. Okay, so a little bit more tin shred. And now that I've removed this, I can actually have access to my inner part of the transformer. So I'm just going to remove this ribbon as well, just to show you. Okay, it's easy. Copper is easy to cut through. If I wanted to use an angle grinder, I could too. But this ribbon is going to go all the way around. And this is actually very surprising how heavy this is. The other reason this is going to be number 2 is because it does have right here some soldering on it, as well as on the back there is glue. But I will say, just judging by this is probably about 5 ounces right there to 7 ounces of just copper. So that's what I love about these older styles. There's definitely more copper to these. And inside of this, all I'm going to first start doing is, you can see there is a couple welds, and I'm just going to actually crack this weld right here. I'm just going to use my angle grinder again, break that open, and this should pop out. Okay. The other thing, if I take a hammer, just to show you before I even start, the wonderful copper, I'm just going to hit the top of that. You definitely want to make sure you have safety glasses on. But smash it up and show you. Look at that beautiful copper inside. So there is definitely going to be more copper in this, taking it out easily, than bringing this in and getting transformer weight. So again, just going to cut this open for you, show you how. I'm probably not going to do the whole thing because, as I said, I do have other videos showing you how to do it. Both of these are exactly alike. And while I'm actually staring at this one, I'm actually just going to pull this little prong here of copper out. There we go. Show you that. It all adds up. Watch this. Just unravels again. Another little bit of copper, number 2 copper, that I'm going to throw into my bag. And I have on a separate video shown these copper definitely comes through in a big way. It adds up. Very easy to do. The inner shell to this, you can see, is going to be magnetic. So the rest of this is actually going to go right into my steel pile. But there is some number 2 copper. Just started another bag of copper number 2. I just filled up a 60-pound bag. Took me about 3 weeks to do. So number 2 copper definitely is going to add up. And this is just this transformer number 2 is definitely going to add to that weight pile. So here we go. Okay, so this style of transformer, a lot like your older microwaves, and I actually just, example here, pulled this one. So this is out of another microwave. I love these because of the copper winding. I already scratched that one, you can see the copper. But some of them you will see have the copper weld on it. Some of them you will also, especially with your smaller electronics, the steel is going to be in plates. So they intersect, and the first thing you do want to make sure you do is check. This one has different welds on it. And all I'm actually going to do when I open this is I'm just going to put it back into my vise, or on my vise. I'm just going to take a type of wedge, if you will, with a hammer, and I'm just going to break that open. Okay, and I did not go all the way through. As you can see, I did miss the weld there. I do have to go over it again, but this will open up, and I'm just going to do it quickly for you just to show you again. There you go. Prong again. Just going to hit that right in there again. Okay. And the rest of this will fall off once I put it on. Hit it through. Okay, a couple of hits. There you go. There, I'm just going to open this. And this copper, as I said, is going to slide out. Now, all I'm going to take is, I always put it back in my vise, and I'll just use my punch again, just to hit this downwards. Okay, it slides out nicely. Make sure it's in secure. Oh, this is going to be nice. And this is, again, this is a nice piece of tin shred. Someone might say because it's thicker than 1/4 inch, this should be steel. But if you look at it, these are all individual plates. So this is still going to be tin shred. And the nice thing about your microwaves when you get these is I just use the inside of a microwave and store these in there. Definitely add up weight. But this is going to have, as you can see, 2 shells of copper. All I'm going to do is just break it, smash it open. That's what I love about scrapping. It's very therapeutic. Okay. 2 wheels of copper, inner wheel. So there you go. Just going to pop that out. 1 wheel. And I do have to take the rest of that plastic off. But again, some more beautiful copper here. So these 2 are probably going to give me almost a pound of number 2 copper. And again, even though I did remove it, I'm still going to get the 6 cents a pound from this transformer. I have a little bit of your copper tape, if you will. 2 beautiful aluminum heat sinks. A lot of tin. Definitely some goodies on my circuit boards. And some more e-waste for this. And a little bit of plastic, but again, definitely better than these going into the landfill hole, as well as my different types of appliance wire. You definitely want to make sure you separate these. These are your higher value, 60% appliance wire, and separate those to get your max profit. So very quick video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it informative. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.